Hello, hello. Oh, been a good day today. Mostly lazy. Um, no, entirely lazy. I was gonna say I think I got a few things done, but upon further inspection of my memory, I did not. I got nothing done. I managed to touch up my head today without bleeding massively. That's a win in my book. Although at the rate I can grow stubble, it's already kind of like sandpaper again. I'm starting to remember why I gave up on this look, and it's because it's a lot of work, especially when you have really crappy disposable razors and that's all you had to work with. But anyway, um, big thing of the day, of course, was sinking about 8 hours into Breath of Fire 4. That's the one. And I'm enjoying it so far. Um, the world map has been massively dumbed down, which is a bit of a shame because three's had its charm, and now you're literally walking around on like a chart map, like a standard drawn map. Um, but it's ultimately the same system as previously. It's just a little less exploration now, but that's not game breaking. Um, that's not a deal breaker. I mean, um, you can rotate the camera freely, sort of freely. You could do it at fixed 90 degree. You can rotate it 90 degrees at a time. Um, the only real thing that's annoying me here is even though we're doing full rotation, the game is still insistent on its weird isometric perspective. And what I mean by that is, like, it's determined to look diagonally at a scene. And the only reason this is annoying is because um, when you're, like, when you move in like just straight up, down, left, right with the D-pad, you move faster. Walking or running, you move faster. But you're moving off kilter from the rest of the world, if that makes sense. Which might be why they decided to move it faster that way. But like ultimately, it just means that it feels like whenever I'm walking diagonally, which I have to do to walk in line with the orientation of the map, I'm moving much slower. And I thought that, there's an option to rotate the D-pad 45 degrees basically. So like up is no longer straight up. It's, up in the map, but you still move the same slow speed. So it became a bit pointless. But that's a minor gripe that I've gotten over. Honestly, at this point, the only major thing that's bothering me is they swapped the button to open the menu and to do character actions on the map, like ramming trees or, that kind of thing. Which means 9 times out of 10, I'll be trying to quickly perform a character action and I'll open the menu. And I'll waste 10 seconds of my life waiting for it to open and waiting for it to close again, because of course it takes forever. And not because it's loading things, but because, games like this pre built in these buffers um, to keep you from like getting hung in a loading screen. And so it can't just immediately pick up and put down the menu. No, it's got a like actual transition that takes like 3 seconds. And that's only exaggerating a little bit. And you have to let the menu open all the way up before you close it again. And it's just like, why? Why did you do this to me? You left every other control on this the same, but you decided to swap action and dash. I mean, not dash, action and open menu. If it was action and dash, it'd be fine. Um, it's also odd because triangle is back in the PlayStation games. In the SNES games, it was fairly standard layout. You know, like, even though they were reversed from what most of us are used to today, A was, as far as A and B being backwards on, well, I say backwards on Nintendo systems, but if you really get into it, they are the ones that kind of stabilized. They first kind of used the 4 button format, and everybody else swapped it. So, whatever. And like going even as far back as to say, Sony initially, at least in Japan, intended for the layout to be basically the same. Because if you look at it, circle for confirm and X for, deny makes more sense, but in a lot of early games and a lot of like primarily Japanese RPGs, it's still like that, I think. But we're spoiled today where the standard controllers are more Microsoft ones, more or less because they're they were the ones that were like the most compatible with PC and stuff. So when you know anyway, point being, those two being switched I'd have been fine with. But like, for 3 games now, menu has been the top button, and using commands on this screen has been the left button. If you look at it, you get what I mean. And just now, for some reason, they decided to swap just those things. No. Everything else about it's great, honestly. Um, I've got it running better. It's it's a bit of a visual upgrade. Um, what between just the naturally it being later in the PS1's lifespan, and also me figuring out some better settings for the plugin I'm using. Um, Granted, there's no guarantee these would have worked with three. Three had like very unique problems that I'm not sure 4 would share. But anyway, I can see why people consider the Dragon system a downgrade, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Um, of what I've experienced so far, anyway. Um, they went back to all characters getting experience after a battle, which is fantastic. Um, and on top of that, they implemented a unique form of active changing. To the best of my knowledge, this might this specific type of system might be pretty unique to this game, unless 5 uses it as well. But similarly to things like Final Fantasy X, where you can change out your party fairly freely, um, in this you have exact control over your party's turn order. In that, basically it looks like it's going to be a six. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Well, I know it's going to be because there's just 6 slots. So unless there's more than 6 characters and um, ones outside of that 6 have to be rotated in a strange way, which I doubt they'll do. Um, the first 3 Now, as far as when an enemy will attack, it's still based on agility overall, I think, unless you're doing. Uh, Actually, I don't know if they interrupt chains. I haven't gotten. So far, an enemy hasn't. I'll get to that in a second. But when it comes to your party attacking, uh, you can decide who, even if even people with slower agility can still go first because it's based on the top three, and they will go for for out of the first, second, and third slot. They will attack in that order, which is good because the game has looks like it's going to be heavily relying on a chain system, like chaining melee skills, elemental skills, things like that, to get unique, more powerful magic and just, you know, big damage. And also, um, not only can you freely swap that, but you can also. It's really easy to set this stuff up because basically, for any slot you can scroll to any party member. So basically, let's say you don't want the person who's currently in number one to go first. You want either somebody. Let's say right now you have party members 1 through 4. You want party member 3 to go first, and you want party member 4 to go second. You literally just left and right on the D-pad, pick the one you want, cue their action, and it realigns itself. It's great. Um, Somebody falls, you don't want to deal with resin, cool. Uh, Swap them out. It just pick the reserve party member and the action you want them to do and when you want them to do it, and it just swaps. So that's really great, actually. Um, so the battle system seems like it's going to get interesting and fun really quick. Um, and so far, any other things that I would have complained about boiled down to me being in a frustrated mood today. Just the type of thing where it's really easy to just want to punch something. It's like, I kind of missed my cup a little bit while pouring tea. I'm a failure at everything, and I'm going to go destroy something. That kind of day. Um, so, when I spent like 20 minutes on a stump puzzle because I didn't realize there was more than one stump, you might say I was stumped. Kill me. I got a little too vitriolic about it. To myself. I kept it to myself. But still, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. And I'm looking forward to playing more. And I'm sleepy and I'm going to bed. I'll catch you all tomorrow.